Yeah, we back. Yeah, we back. Now, today, man, we got to talk about Barack Obama. Barack Obama's making headlines in the news lately because take a look up on the screen. As you can see, Barack Obama in blunt terms tells black men to get over their reluctance and support Kamala Harris. Now, let's get right into it, not wasting no time. Barack Obama basically said this, and you're coming up with all kinds of reasons and excuses. I've got a problem with that. Because part of it makes me think that, and I'm speaking to men directly, black men in particular, that part of it makes me think that you just aren't feeling the idea of having a woman as your president. And you're coming up with other alternatives and other reasons for that. Obama said that the women in our lives have been getting our backs this entire time. When we get in trouble and the system is not working for us, they are the ones out there marching and protesting. And now you're thinking about sitting out or supporting somebody who has a history of denigrating you because you think that's a sign of strength, because that's what being a man is about, putting women down. That is not acceptable. Now, wow, we have so much to discuss. Goddamn, Obama, goddamn. Anyways, I'm going to play the footage and I'm going to come back with my commentary. Let's go.
You're thinking about sitting out or even supporting somebody who has a history of denigrating you because you think that's a sign of strength, because that's what being a man is, putting women down?
Now, about a month ago, I had a pay-per-view video entitled, take a look up on the screen, "The Political Isolation of the Black Man in America." In that video, if you want access to that video, go into the description, send $6 on a Cash App, attach your email, and I'll send you a private link. But in summary, in that video, I basically spoke about how when it comes to the political system in America, the black man is only accepted into either one of these political parties if you fit into certain archetypes, if you subscribe to certain stereotypes. And each side, whether it's the Democrats or the Republicans, the right or the left, they put the black man in a certain specific box. And if you don't subscribe to the archetypes within that box, then generally you are not really accepted. You're not really welcomed into the fold. Thus, if you're a black man like myself, for example, you are politically homeless. For example, to be accepted into the Democrat Party, you have to be a black man who is not threatening, non-militant. You have to hold hands and lock arms and stand in solidarity with your white allies and your LGBT allies. You have to be part of the multicultural, multiracial coalitions. You have to hyper-focus on racism and social justice without ever advocating for autonomy or self-sufficiency. You have to basically be a useless and harmless black man that will pose no threat to the power structure either now or anytime in the future. And on the other hand, in order to be accepted by the Republican faction, then it's kind of the same thing, but in a different way. You still have to lock arms with your white allies, but this time, instead of the LGBT, you're locking arms with your white conservative Christian allies, right? And part of locking arms with your white conservative Christian allies is that you have to denigrate your own people in order to show allegiance to these white Christian conservative allies, right? You have to get in front of the white allies and be like, man, this is why my people ain't shit. This is why my people ain't never gonna be shit. This is why they never ever gonna, this is why they never was shit. You just have to just denigrate and downplay it and disgrace your people in front of the white folks. That's basically how you earn your stripes in these Republican circles. If you remember Candace Owens didn't get fired until she went after the Jews and she went after different demographics. But when she was strictly going after her own people, her own race, man, they was coming at her with book deals and brand deals and jobs and opportunities. Come to this booking engagement, come to this speaking engagement, come to this trip, come to this flight, come to this convention. But the moment she decided that, you know what? I'm always giving my own people all the smoke. Let me get a smoke to somebody else. Let me talk about somebody else. That was when she stepped over the line. That was when they were like, listen, you got to go. In order to be accepted in these conservative, Republican right-wing circles, you have to constantly denigrate your own people for a paycheck. You can't talk about nobody else. You can't talk about the Jews. You can't talk about white folks. If you talk about white folks, they're gonna call you a victim. You can't talk about nobody else. You have to talk about your own folks. Just like the black Democrat, you have to be non-threatening. You have to be deferential. You cannot challenge the status quo. You cannot seek power for yourself. You have to sit in the back seat or the passenger seat, and your only role is to sit there and show love to the driver. And the driver in this case is the right-wing Republican conservative Christian male, because he's the one who controls the Republican Party. Your only job as a black man is to sit there and support him in whatever he wants to do. Sit there, pat him on the back and basically be a hype man or a sidekick. That's pretty much as far as you can go, right? Never being allowed to upset the current existing hierarchy. Like I said, your job is to sit in the passenger seat or the back seat. You are never going to be allowed to drive the car. So don't even ask. Don't even think about driving a car. Nigga, you ain't driving a fucking car, right? The only reason you're here is to make everybody believe that racism doesn't exist. We have moved past that and the world is amazing. That's the only reason you are here, to be validation for what we already believe. So if you're a black man that does not fall into any of these archetypes, you're going to find yourself feeling isolated, feeling like you're on an island by yourself. And if you're a black man like myself who pays attention to American foreign policy, especially as it relates to black nations, especially the continent of Africa, then you're definitely going to be isolated, because both the right and the left, the Republicans and the Democrats, they have the same agenda as it relates to foreign policy, which is the full and complete subjugation, both economically and politically, of our nations. Now, as it relates to me, the Republicans have already squandered my vote when they said that the Haitians in Ohio invaded the country and they're killing all the geese and things like that. You know, when they tried to run with that propaganda, the Republicans guaranteed that I'll never vote for them ever again in life. And it's so funny because guess what? Somebody was recently arrested in Springfield, Ohio for actually killing the geese. And it turns out that it was a white man. But of course, did the Republicans ever make any statements about that? No, of course not. But it is what it is, though. You know, I thought we had to protect the geese. But of course, when it's a redneck, hillbilly, white trash motherfucker who does something, nobody ever has something to say. But it's funny how the right-wing conservative media can simply fabricate stories on Haitians and everybody gonna run with it like it's the gospel. So obviously, myself being Haitian, I'll never be respected amongst these circles. So I have no desire to be amongst these motherfucking white trash hypocritical pieces of shit. But at the same time, on the Democrat side, you have to be a non-threatening black man who doesn't want power, doesn't want autonomy, doesn't want self-sufficiency. You have to be accepting of Black Women Day and white men. You have to be accepting of, black men wearing dresses and high heels and stockings and fishnets. You have to be, locking arms with the LGBT allies. You have to lock arms with the multiracial coalition. It's a whole mess on the Democrat side too. That's why I said a lot of black men feel politically and ideologically homeless when it comes to the political system in the United States. And I don't blame my brothers, man. I don't blame my brothers. Now, when it comes to me, I'm Haitian. So even though I was born and raised here, the conservatives already let me know that in their eyes, I'm nothing but a dirty, cat-eating, geese-killing, voodoo-practicing Haitian, and I should take my dumb ass back to Haiti. So they already let me know what time it is on their side. And when it comes to the Democrats, because I believe in things like self-sufficiency and autonomy and the black family and the liberation of the African continent, then I'm just an ignorant, stupid hotep. So, like I said, black men like myself, we have nowhere to go. We have nowhere to go. But, it is what it is, man. Anyway, let's take a look at some of the reactions on social media. This person said, all I'm going to say is this. I've talked to some that will be sitting at the crib this election cycle. And it ultimately boils down to the fact that neither side really has a plan for black men. So the thought is, why bother? Basically saying what I'm saying. Black men are pretty much politically homeless, right? I understand why black women vote for the Democrat Party. I have no issue with that. I totally understand why, as a black woman, you are in solidarity with the Democrats, because the Democrats actually have things on the table for you, directly to you. But when it comes to black men, really, either side doesn't really have anything on the table for us. Really, all it is vote for me so the other guy doesn't win, right? The Republicans come to the black man, they say, vote for me so the Democrats don't win. The Democrats come to the black man, they say, vote for me so the Republican don't win. They don't come to the black man and say, vote for me because I'm going to give you X, Y, and Z. And of course, it's because neither side has any plans to give anything to the black man. The Democrats have no agenda for the black man. The Republicans have no agenda for the black man. The only black men they accept is the ones that have accepted the status quo, have no interest in upsetting the current hierarchy and power structures. And you have to fall into those archetypes that I mentioned before. If you don't fall into those archetypes, you will not be accepted. Like I said, neither party has any desire to truly empower the black man, because by truly empowering the black man, you will upset the status quo, right? Because it's been the black man historically who has been the only demographic to consistently stand in direct opposition to the status quo, whether it was through rebellion, revolution, whatever, from the slave fields, the slave revolts, up until the civil rights movement, the Black Panther Party. Listen, it's been the black man who has demonstrated the ability and the desire to take up arms and shed blood to disrupt the social hierarchy. It's the black man who has that legacy. So due to the fact that our illustrious forefathers have passed down this honorable legacy down to us, we are seen as inherently a group of men who are threatening to the systems of power. We are threatening to both the Democrat and Republican political establishments, Because on the Republican side, the white men on the Republican side are invested in maintaining the traditional social hierarchies, and they view empowering the black man as a direct challenge to their hegemony and their dominance. They prefer black men who embrace individualism, who don't care about their community. They prefer black men who are patriotic and submissive to the existing power structure and the current social order. Those men present no risk of rebellion, so to speak, right? They want the patriotic, submissive black man on the Republican side. And on the Democrat side, they present the image of, championing, social justice, civil rights, but they don't believe in empowering the black man either. They don't really want to disrupt the status quo, right? The rich white men at the top of the Democratic Party, they don't want to see the black man empowered either. So like I said, that leaves the black man politically isolated and politically homeless. So of course they cater to our women, right? Because as long as the black man is not fully empowered, then the black woman doesn't really pose a direct threat, right? If the black man is disempowered, if the black man is not empowered, then she poses no threat, which means that she has no choice but to bow to the system, so to speak. The black woman becomes a threat once the black man is empowered, because she's going to be the one that's going to raise more young black men to, continue on the fight, continue on the whatever the cause is, right? So that's essentially the situation we find ourselves in. Now let's continue. This person said, in other words, as it stands, there's almost no incentive for black men to vote in presidential elections. They're not getting any specific and tangible benefits from the candidates they vote for when those candidates win, yet they're going to get blamed when the candidate loses. This person said, black men vote overwhelmingly Democratic and have overwhelmingly supported both women who have run for president. Black male voters should be held up as a standard by the Democratic Party of what it looks like for men to support women electorally. Black men are socialized in the same patriarchal society as all men, yet have overwhelmingly supported women running for president. If Democrats want to discuss misogynistic voting patterns, black men should be the last on the list. Now, absolute facts. Round of applause for that excellent piece of commentary. Let's set the record straight, man. Black men, especially in the United States, are the most progressive and egalitarian group of men, and probably arguably in the entire world. When it comes to supporting women in positions of authority, like for Obama to insinuate that, black men are misogynistic and they just don't want to see a woman in power, they just don't want to see a black woman win, like that is blasphemous for Obama to say that about the black man, right? Completely ignoring the reality of who we are as men. Time and time again, black men have led the charge in supporting women, not only when it comes to, elections, but throughout history, man. Doesn't matter if you're talking about Hillary Clinton or even Kamala Harris. Our demographic, whether right or wrong, we've been the most enthusiastic in terms of throwing their support behind a woman seeking the highest office in the land. Even today, even right now, black men make up the largest male demographic that's backing Kamala Harris. Even despite the disagreements and frustrations a lot of black men have, we are still the biggest demographic of men behind Kamala Harris. But they're going to say we misogynistic because we're not voting at 100% clip. But when it comes to white men, nobody's lecturing white men on misogyny. White men didn't even vote for Hillary Clinton in the same amount, right? That's their mama. Hillary Clinton looks like their mama, but they didn't even vote for Hillary Clinton as much as black men got behind Hillary Clinton. And don't even get me started on the Hispanics and the Asians and the Arabs. We already know you talk about misogyny, but you're not going to lecture the Arabs? That's how I know, Barack Obama, you're not for real. You're not serious, bro. You're not serious, man. You're not serious, man. Black men have always been the biggest supporters of women. Even when you examine the historical record, the earliest female heads of state, they came from ancient African nations, long before European societies, Asian societies, anybody. You could go back to the ancient Nubian kingdoms, the queens of Kush, the Kandakis of Kush. It was the black man who was the first man to elevate his woman to a position of authority and respect in the land. It wasn't the white man. It wasn't the Arab man. It wasn't the Asian man. It was the black man who did it first. You had black female heads of state back in Africa when the white man was burning his woman alive at the stake for witchcraft. For the vast majority of history, and even still many parts of the world still to this day, they treat their women as second, third, fourth, 1800 class citizens. Meanwhile, like I said, it was the black man who was the first man to elevate his woman to the status of head of state. It was the black man who did it first. You could even say that the black man is the pioneer of empowering women just by looking at the historical record. We've always valued the thoughts and the ideas and the counsel of our women. It was the ancient African societies that were the first to embrace the idea that women could hold positions of power and lead nations. It was the black man who was enlightened with that idea first. Meanwhile, you got white men, they just gave their women rights in the past century or so. Man, the black man did that like 5,000 years ago. So listen, Barack, listen, Obama, listen. And I'm voting for y'all. I'm voting for y'all because I told y'all, the Republicans, they already told me, nigga, go back to Haiti. We don't want you here, you stupid Negro. So I'm not voting for them stupid motherfuckers. But I'm voting for y'all. But you got to keep it real, bro. Do not come at black men talking about black men are misogynistic, because that is simply a fabrication. You're trying to scapegoat our demographic because you don't want to have the real conversations. Don't try to scapegoat the black man because the Democrat Party has failed to deliver. Don't do that, bro. Don't do that, man. Let's continue. This person said, I'm not really here for the black man versus black woman discourse, but black women would not have voted for Barack Obama if he was married to Nancy Pelosi, and that's just a fact. Now, that's a fact. I mentioned that before on my channel before. Black women would have never in a million years, you couldn't pay a black woman $10 billion to vote for a black man running for president, and he got a Becky on his arm, he got a European on his arm, he got a white woman on his arm. It would never happen, and I would never encourage them to do so. I would never chastise them if they felt that in their heart. I totally understand you, sis. I totally understand. So you have to understand why the black man himself is not enthusiastic to vote for Kamala Harris when she walking around with this math teacher looking motherfucker holding hands and kissing him and laying up with him every goddamn night. You got to understand us too, sis. You got to understand us too. Now, let's continue. This person said, Ketanji Brown did the same. Notice how all the black women leaders are married to white men. And the guy at the bottom said, every black woman that Biden has chosen has a white man in her bed. And that's why he picked her. Oh my goodness. Yeah, you remember Ketanji Brown Jackson, the Supreme Court Justice, I believe. Yeah, she's also, just like Kamala Harris. Like I said, to be a black man in the Democratic Party, you have to accept the idea that black women are gonna be sleeping with white men. And I don't know why we have to accept that. Listen, I'm not accepting that bullshit, bro. I'm not riding with that bullshit, bro. Because like I said, the black woman would never accept that. So why the black man gotta accept that? Fuck out of here. And that's why you have so many black women on the liberal side, on the Democratic side, that engage in this type of like double-minded behavior where they talk about social justice and Black Lives Matter, but they still sleeping with white men and shit like that. Like the Democratic Party, they encourage this type of like schizophrenic behavior, like, oh man, racial, white supremacy and the systemic racism, but we sleeping with white men. No, like the Democratic Party, they encourage this type of bullshit because this is the type of imagery they put out into the atmosphere. They tell our young girls, like, listen, this is the example you want to be like. You want to be like Kamala Harris, Ketanji Brown Jackson. Get you a white man. Get you a white man. The Democratic Party, they be boosting up the divest movement low key, right? They be promoting the divest movement. Like, if you're a black man and Democrat, you got to be down with the divest movement, and I ain't down with it. Fuck out of it. This person said Obama shook Gaddafi's hand and then had him assassinated. Now, there is an actual African slave trade in Libya because of his destabilization. He betrayed black Americans, Africans, and all people of conscience. Drone strike in Yemen with a third of the victims being women and children. Now, yeah, Obama definitely destabilized the Sahel. So that's why when you see on my channel, I'm talking about Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger having to deal with these jihadist insurgencies, these terrorists in the Sahel. That is tied back directly to American foreign policy during the Obama administration. And obviously when Obama was in power, he was firm in his support for France, right? He definitely supported France when it came to foreign policy on the African continent, right? He definitely strengthened American military presence on the continent, and he definitely played a direct role in the destabilization of these African nations in the Sahel. So Obama wants to lecture black men in America about misogyny and you just hate women. But how about we talk about what the women in the Sahel are going through right now? What about the women in Burkina Faso and Mali and Niger? They got to deal with all these jihadist insurgencies and these armed bandits running around their territory committing mass murder. What about those women, Obama? What about those women? What about the women on the African continent? You see, Obama got some nerve, man. Obama got some nerve trying to come out and criticize black men, saying that black men are misogynistic because you don't want to support Kamala Harris's presidential ambitions. Meanwhile, due to the foreign policy that was enacted by his administration, there are now millions of black women in Africa living under the terror of jihadist insurgencies. So don't even come at black men. Don't even try to listen, Obama, stay in your lane, big bro. Stay in your lane, bro. And the most ironic thing about it, it's actually black men who are on the front lines fighting to contain the insurgencies that Obama created, that the policies of Obama set in place, set in motion. It's the military men in Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger. that are risking their lives every day to clean up the mess that Obama created. While Obama's sitting up in the United States enjoying his millions of dollars, it's black men in the trenches. It's black men defending their communities against the terrorists and the bandits. It's black men risking their lives every day, facing death every day to restore order to their nations that have been destabilized by the Obama administration. And then Obama has the nerve to criticize the black man who was the first man to elect a woman to the position of head of state in the history of humanity. It was the black man. It was the black African man who did it thousands of years ago. But anyways, man, Obama, listen, watch your mouth, bro. Don't come at the black man like that, bro. And listen, I'm voting for y'all because, like I said, the Republicans already told me get the fuck out the country, you dirty Haitian. So I'm voting for y'all, man. So, but I got to keep it real though. That's the thing. I'm not a Democrat shill. I'm not a Republican shill, and I'm not a Democrat shill. That's what some black men get. That's what some black men get confused. Some of y'all tap dancing and booty clapping for the Republicans, or you tap dancing and booty clapping for the Democrats. Only person I'm tap dancing and booty clapping for is the black woman and the black child. You feel me? That's it, man. That's the only person I'm supporting and I'm rocking with. My brothers, my women, and the babies. That's it. I have no allegiance to any political party. Not at all, man. Not at all. But Obama, you totally in the wrong, man. You totally in the wrong. And just like any other person, I got to come at you just the same with the same energy, man. Like I said, anybody can get it, bro. And like I said, I had to keep it real with you. And I'm voting for you. You don't got to worry about me. I'm voting for the lady married to a white man. You know, it's cool. I mean, fuck it. But don't try to scapegoat the black man, because that's how you lose. That's how you lose votes, man. The same way the Republicans, turn me off with that bullshit. You turn a lot of black men off when you do that bullshit because it's not accurate. The black man is the most progressive, the most egalitarian man that ever walked the planet, man. The first man to integrate women into the armed forces was the black man. The first man to elevate a woman to the position of authority and head of state was the black man. The first man to elevate a woman to the status of royalty was the black man. We talking about historical facts. While the white man was burning his woman at the stake, the black man had the black woman sitting on a throne. So listen, Obama, show respect when you talk about the black man. You hear me? Show respect. Anyways, man, this is Neferkari the Salim back in the building. Yes, indeed. Cash App in the description. Support the channel, man. Support the channel. And I'm gone. Peace.
How come Obama is just now popping out? He went from black hair to gray hair immediately. And now he's trying to tell us how we should move with our vote as men. And he didn't even approach us on some respectful type of stuff. He approached us like he was our daddy. He don't have no real thing that he stand on, because his lasting legacy in most of our eyes, I don't know if he's aware of what the general sentiment is. He probably cut his phone off and he went and enjoyed all of his millions and he was making his Netflix documentaries, and God bless him. He mastered taking advantage of politics in order to really become a true capitalist and get to that bag. God bless you. But why don't you just go ahead and sit somewhere, bro? We don't want to hear what you got to say. We ain't interested in your disconnected view of what's really happening. Chicago, go and fix Chicago right across the street from your presidential library. You just don't hit the same. Listen.
No. Feel like I'm 75. Know that your team be full of them traders, you know that can never be mine. I'm grabbing a thought when I drive. I'm back in my zone and we young. She said that she ready to come be my wife, yeah, hoping I don't do her wrong. I gave her my word and it's bond. I'm whipping the best like a lamb. I mean no chicken and lamb. Accustomed to call me the man. I never be up on the gram. I'm keeping that way undercover. She want me to tell her I love her. I told her I'm breaking the rules. I told her we making the news. Back in my city, they loving me. Standing alone, I'm 100 deep. Enemy plotting is still in reach. They try to make sure that we underneath. Trying to make sure that we never make it. Coming for power, come get acquainted. Coming for everything that I wanted. Feeling like Drake, but I really wrote it. Feeling like Kendrick, I'm checking names. Gotta roll up while I go insane. Got so much stress, I've been gated weight. Stuffing these racks in this Louis case. One thing for certain, I'm about to check. Keep it 100 and nothing less. Stick with the family since day one. Had to stay down in my day come. Had to stay down, but I'm never patient. Hop on the mic and I'm motivated. Hop on the mic and I drive a classic. Haters can't see me, they copping glasses. Back in the studio making magic. Got a new tape and it's in production. Back on my business, I got a budget. Staying low key when I'm out in public. Feel like I'm 75. Know that your team be full of them traders, you know that can never be mine. I'm grabbing a thought when I drive. I'm back in my zone and we young. She said that she ready to come be my wife, yeah, hoping I don't do her wrong. I gave her my word and it's bond. I'm whipping the best like a lamb. I mean no chicken and lamb. Accustomed to call me the man. I never be up on the gram. I'm keeping that way undercover. She want me to tell her I love her. I told her I'm breaking the rules. I told her we making the news.